Today, we're going to be ranking every single first-party Nintendo Switch physical box art. Now, obviously, Nintendo has announced that despite releasing the Nintendo Switch 2 here in a couple months, they do still plan to release titles for the Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, this video might get a little outdated. So just so everybody's on the same page for what games I am ranking every single first-party Nintendo Switch exclusive title up until Metroid Prime 4 or beyond. I'm going to be ranking these box arts as if I was a customer looking at them for the first time and considering buying them. So even if you are a game like Mario Strikers Battle League, if your box art is good and it sells me on the game, hey, you might just get points just for that. But with that all being said, let's get into the video. Now, when looking at this game and you take all the context out of the way in regards to, it being an open world and it being one of the best open world games ever made, we kind of just get a guy standing out on a rock just staring off into the abyss. And, I would say that's kind of boring, but it is kind of hard. It does go really hard, though. I don't know. I don't want to say it's the greatest thing ever, but I think it gets the point across and what kind of game it is. The logo is also really nice. It shows the decay of the Master Sword. I don't know. I think this deserves a pretty solid A tier. Next up on the list, though, we got 1-2-Switch. And I'm going to be real. Seeing humans on the box art of Nintendo Switch games is very uncanny. And yeah, it's uncanny here. It's definitely not enough for me to make me hate it, but there's definitely worse party game box arts out there. So I think we can put this in the middle of the road here. Now, Snipper Clips, on the other hand, though, I think is way better. I think the box art communicates the friendliness of co-op gameplay as well as having these little adorable little square geometry things. But yeah, I think this is another pretty good. Honestly, Snipper Clips is pretty cool. I love the box art for it. I think it's really nice and cozy. Now, next up, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is obviously a port of a Wii U game, so they obviously had to redo pretty much everything in regards to the box art. And yeah, now we have them on Rainbow Road featuring some of the new characters as well as some new renders of Mario and Peach and co. And honestly, it's pretty solid. I don't want to say it's the greatest thing ever because it is a little cluttered, especially if you're looking from far away like I kind of am on this tier list. But I definitely think it's really solid and better than most Mario Kart box art. So we can give this one another pretty good tier. Ooh, but next up we got ARMS though. Oh my god, ARMS' box art is so freaking raw. I don't know if I want to put this one above all, but ARMS is really solid. I do love ARMS' box art quite a lot. Wait. Do I want to put it in S tier though? There is a bit of empty space in this box art though, so I don't know. I'm putting it in A tier. I'm putting it in A tier. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to come back to that. Now moving on to Splatoon 2. Now, oh, it's amazing. It's iconic, You got the two squids clashing on the brand new stage on Splatoon. Do I want to give this a S tier? I don't... I really do like it. I'm a huge fan of the Splatoon box arts. I think they're great. I think they perfectly display the dynamicness of turf war and whatnot. I don't think there's a singular bad Splatoon box art. You know what? We're giving this thing the one above all tier. I love this box art. Alright, now we got Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and I don't feel too strong about this. I mean, it is kind of funny seeing Mario with a gun. I mean, yeah, it's just kind of one of those, here's the entire roster, look at them all doing an MCU-like poster. I mean, there's a couple of those on this list here that we're going to definitely talk about, and some of them I definitely like a lot. But I don't know if I like this one that much. I don't know. I'm gonna give this a passable, though. It's definitely inoffensive, for sure. And speaking of MCU-like box arts, we got Pokken Tournament DX. And I'm gonna be real, I think I much preferred the original box art on the Wii U, where you had Lucario and Pikachu facing off there. The effects there were just immaculate. And I'm not saying this box art's bad, either. I just think if I had to pick one or the other, I would definitely pick the Wii U version. Maybe I'll have two other Pokemon fighting in there, so that way it looks like 4 Pokemon going at it at once. But over here, this is just like an amalgamation. This is literally just like an MCU poster, but if it were Pokemon instead. But again, I don't hate it though. I think I'll put it in passable. And I should clarify, there's definitely going to be more like MCU like box arts here that we're going to encounter. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Next up, we got Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, this game is another MCU box art kind of art. I say that like that's a bad thing, but honestly, this one's pretty good. It's pretty good. It gets the message across. It's pretty nice. You got Marth there in the middle. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Would I put it in pretty good tier? Probably not, but it's very inoffensive again, so I do not mind. Now, Mario Odyssey, on the other hand. Oh My God, that's no, that's getting an S tier. It's getting an S tier. Context aside for the game, of course, you have Mario just doing a great action pose, throwing his hat across, giving you an idea on what the platforming is going to be like, as well as like the background images being like little photos of the adventure you go on. Like it's kind of, you know, like a vacation, like you're going out there and you're exploring brand new worlds. You know, it's awesome. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, though. All right, remember, guys, context is not included here. This is just the box art. And while I do universally love the Xenoblade box arts, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with Breath of the Wild, where it's like, yeah, it's just, you know, your main protagonist characters looking out into the horizon on the big thing. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2's kind of like main thing is the Titans as well as the World Tree, which we can kind of see here. It's very nice. It's definitely a spectacle. I mean, it's like, it's poster worthy. Like, it's really awesome. I don't know. It's definitely not enough for me to put it in S tier. Like, I really like, the consistency they have with the Xenoblade games, and I'll get back to it when I get to 1 and 3. But yeah, I think we'll just put it in pretty good. We'll put it in pretty good. Actually, we could put it higher than Mario Kart. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. All right, next we got Dragon Quest Builders. And yeah, you can see the guy carrying a cube. You can see the slime there. You can see the unique art style. You guys can probably tell I've never played a Dragon Quest Builders in my life. No, but I like the art style, though. I like the art style. It's really cute. It kind of reminds me of the old, the old RPGs back in the day. We can give this thing a pretty good. I think it's very solid. I think it gets the point across, and I think it's really nice and wholesome. All right, next up we got Bayonetta 1. I guess Bayonetta 2, we can grip them together because they're kind of the same idea. Yeah, so this is another one of those character looks in the background, and you kind of get the idea from there. However, unlike, Zelda and Xenoblade, this doesn't really communicate much. You just have Bayonetta here, like, in front of the moon, just kind of doing her thing, And, she does her thing well. She serves, That's kind of her whole deal. But, like, show this to an unsuspecting player who doesn't know anything about Bayonetta and ask them what the gameplay is like, and they probably couldn't tell you at all. This is definitely one of those where I kind of wish they, like, communicated that a little bit more, because her just being in front of the moon, I don't think tells you much. I will definitely say, though, Bayonetta 2's is a bit better, so I will give it that. But you know what? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Bayonetta 1 passable, and I'm going to put Bayonetta 2 also in passable, but I'm going to put it above Bayonetta 1 because I like Bayonetta 2's a little bit more. Ooh, next up, we got Kirby Star Allies. Now, this one is very solid. Context aside for the quality of the game, because I know not many people were the biggest fan of it. But, yeah, this one is solid, and it's so comfy. Like, look at Kirby. He's like, dude, look at all my homies back here. Look at all my homies. And, yeah, those are his homies, all right. I kind of wish they did something a little bit more with the background aside from, like, putting them in space. But outside of that, I think this is very solid. I think this goes in an A tier. I think it's perfect. All right, next up, we got Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Another MCU kind of esque poster. I don't know why I'm saying it like that's a bad thing. But, yeah, no, this one's pretty solid. Let me look at what the original Wii U box art for Hyrule Warriors was real quick. Ooh, wait, I don't know if I like it better or not. It's like a little janky, but, like, I do like the background a lot more, even though I have no idea where that dragon's from on the top right. I don't know what that's from in the game. Ooh, I don't know. I definitely like it, though. I definitely like it. It's MCU-esque in a way where, it's doing it in a way where it's not cluttered, which I appreciate. I think as far as MCU posters go, we could give that thing an A tier. I think it's pretty solid. All right, next up we got Nintendo Labo box arts. Now this is a little interesting. Let me look these up because I have no idea. I've never owned Labo in my life, and what are these box arts? It's just a blank white. It's just a blank white background with like houses and stuff, and the other one is just a robot. It is pretty unique, I guess. Like I like the little black spine. I guess you don't see many Nintendo Switch games doing that. I mean, is it horrible though? Is it offensive? No, I just think it's a little weird and annoying. I'm just gonna put them in C tier. I don't think they don't bother me because it's not a game that I don't like. Despite me saying I wasn't gonna judge, based on what kind of games I like. I think it's fine though. It gets the point across, I guess. It gets the the point across of like what kind of pack you're getting when you get the physical edition of the Nintendo Labo. All right, next up we got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I think this one's another solid one. You got the ice surrounding them. You got all 4 of the party members here. Does not include Funky Kong though. It only does that. Well, actually, I guess it technically does in the top right of the box. Sorry, the one I'm looking at doesn't have Funky Kong. But dog, wait, hold up. Am I crazy or Yeah, nah, dude, I'm not crazy. I want to put this thing in S tier. I think Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a very solid box art. And I think you can do no wrong with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze box art. I think it's awesome. Plus funky mode. Sushi Striker's the way of the Shushindo. I totally butchered that. I do not care. This box art is really charming though. I really like it. You know, it shows like the gameplay a lot by the little bottom there, about the sushi train rolls or whatever, which I think is nice. I think it's nice when you can show a bit of the gameplay through the box art there. Yeah, not much to say about it. I think it's really nice. We'll give it a solid C tier. I think it's great. I think it's passable. I think it tells you I like it a lot more. I'm putting that pretty good. I like it. All right, Mario Tennis Aces, though. Oh my god, I think this box art is solid, dude. I think it's solid. I think it's beautiful. Dude, I want to kiss it. Like, it's so good. I love it a lot. I think it's amazing. I think it communicates very well that, yes, this is, in fact, a game of tennis. Dude, I don't know. There's not much to say about it, but I do want to put this in pretty good. I think I like Mario Tennis Aces' box art quite a bit. All right, next up, we got Octopath Traveler. Now, it's kind of, it looks boring on the tier list as well as it looks boring when you boot it up on your, Nintendo Switch. But the box art itself is really awesome. It shows off the 8 travelers. It shows them all looking towards somewhere. I don't really know where. But yeah, they're kind of doing their own thing, and it's in their own, like, Square Enix art style. And I think it's amazing. I think it's great. Obviously, there's not really much you can really show off other than the 8 travelers, because, Octopath, Octo means 8. That's kind of the whole running gag. Ha, ha, ha. But yeah, I think that's a solid A tier. I think it works perfectly. I think it communicates very well what you're getting into. Hi, editing Cyanize real quick. I know Octopath Traveler 2 was not a Switch exclusive title when that came out. But I'm going to rank it anyway because I love that game. And the first game was a Switch exclusive when that first dropped. So I don't care. This is my video. Yeah, that gets an S tier. I really love the box art. It's really comfy. I think it's a huge step up from the first one. Yeah, I don't know. I think I really like it a lot. I just like it a lot. I don't care. I'm not going to justify it any further. This is my list, not yours. All right, next up, we got Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I don't have much to say about this one. I'm gonna be real. Not that it's bad, of course. I just think, as far as C tier goes, this is the image I would use to describe the tier. All right, next up we have Go Vacation. Now, I've actually heard about this game. This is apparently kind of like, Wii Sports a little bit, which is weird because we also have Switch Sports. And technically, this game is also published by Nintendo. So this is a little weird, to be ranking this. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a little uncanny because obviously these characters aren't me characters. I don't know. I wish, like, the environments here, like, merged together a lot better. Instead of, like, you can see, like, the white, like, cutoffs there for each environment. I wish they, like, merged together a lot better. And also, for some reason, the top one takes up a lot of space for, like, no reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to communicate here. I guess it shows off the sports quite a bit, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'm more confused, if anything, so I'm going to give this one just say C tier. I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but I'm a little confused by this box art, personally. Now we got Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torn of the Golden Country. Now, technically, I wouldn't be ranking box arts of DLC, but this one actually did get a physical version, so I guess it's fair game. We can talk about it. So as far as this one goes, I think it's a little bit better than, the other Xenoblade games out there. It has a different, it's kind of a different, like, color saturation. It's kind of hard to describe. It's a little bit more like cloudy and gray, and the colors are a little bit more muted, which is interesting because the two characters are two leads at the middle there have pretty much all the color there. I guess it's supposed to signify the past and whatnot. I don't know. That's just my theory on the matter. But regardless, I think we're okay with giving this thing we can give it a pretty good. I was going to give it a passable, but I think it's pretty good. I think the Titan back there is really doing it for me. He looks awesome. Just knowing that you're on the back of that thing the whole time, I think it's awesome. All right, next up, you got Super Mario Party. Now, this, Mario Party games are always going to be a little bit wacky. There's always a lot going on with them. But I must say, there's a lot of empty space there. There's a lot of stuff going on at the bottom there, and then you randomly have Toadette and, Waluigi and gang, at the sides of the box art. But then there's just a random Joy-Con sitting there at the top. Like why? It's kind of interesting. You have the red and blue, but then you have a random green neon one, and then you have a random gray one at the top. And that's bothering me. I'm not saying this is a bad box art. I think it's awesome. I think everybody here is very expressive here, and Mario's facial expression and whatnot is very awesome here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just some dumb little things that I'm nitpicking about it that it's getting me to put it in pretty good. But otherwise, I think it'd be a solid like S tier. I love the graphic design in the background there. I think it's awesome. And now we got Neo: The World Ends With You. I have not played this game yet. Yeah, this game is a little interesting. I don't really know where to start in regards to its box art. It's definitely very unique visually. Like the art style, it's very unique for sure. I don't really have much to say outside of that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to give this thing a passable, though. It's not really grabbing me, though. It's not making me want to play the game. You know, you just have all your guys out there at the front, you know, doing their thing, which is cool. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're all doing their own thing, but it's just not my thing. All right, now I'm going to rank these two together. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Now, I'm going to be real. For how generic most of the Pokemon box arts usually are, I gotta say, these ones are very different. You know, we get a, very different background for these two, as well as some very, like, fluffy and, like, soft, like, renders of Pikachu and Eevee. Like, it's really nice and comforting. It's so weird. I really like it, actually. Like, I do wish, like, you showed off the Kanto region maybe a little bit more, but, otherwise, I think I can put these in pretty good. I think as far as Pokemon box art goes, like, these are nice. I think it communicates very clearly, that you're gonna let's go with Pikachu or let's go Eevee, I guess. And now, the MCU poster to rival them all, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And yeah, you know what? We're not having a debate. It is going to be S tier. Even if you take the context out of it, it's still an amazing poster that somehow combines pretty much the majority of the roster into this tiny little thing. And it's the mural artwork. And, so it's really unique and it's really like flashy one. Now, I have yet to see many like box arts do this kind of mural style. We're going to see a couple of those coming up though, of course. I think Smash Brothers like does it in a way where it's so cool and unique, and I don't know. I never get tired of looking at the Super Smash Bros. Box art. I think it's amazing. I think it's one of the best box arts out there in gaming, which is crazy because it is an MCU box art, and I know we get a lot of those, but I think Smash Bros. Ultimate, despite how big its roster is, manages to do it in a way where it's really like awesome and flashy. All right, next up we got fitness boxing. Now, I honestly have never heard of fitness boxing until this video. But yeah, that is indeed a human character boxing. But I gotta give it props because at least it's not, the uncanny realism of the human characters on the Nintendo Switch. So, I'll give it credit for that. I think it's solid. It gets the point across. It's graphically pleasing to the eye. Yeah, we'll put it in pretty good. Alright, now we have New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Now, it's pretty much the exact same thing as the Wii U one, except they cut some things off and readjusted some things, as well as placed some things differently, used new renders. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's the same kind of idea, it's just done differently, and also the background is just randomly yellow for some reason. I guess to, give the idea that it's a premium version of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I don't know which one I prefer in this instance, because if we're looking at the Wii U copy, physical edition of the game, there's some things I don't really like about that I think the Switch version does better. I don't know. We can put this one in pretty good though. I don't feel too strong about it, but I also don't hate it either. All right, Yoshi's Crafted World. This one's fun. It's a fun box art. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Well, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I kind of really do like it. There's so much going on here. There's like so much going on here, and it's not distracting from the main focal point being Yoshi and I guess Poochie over here on the side for some reason. I forgot why he's in the game. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not putting this thing in S tier, but I think I can appreciate it a lot. We can put Yoshi in A tier. I think Yoshi's Crafted World box art is really solid. All right, next up we got Cadence of Hyrule. Now, this is another MCU-esque, box art here. I don't really like this box art though. There's a lot going on here. It's a lot of purplish, and then you have Link, Zelda, and then the main character here. You can tell I've never played this game before. Everyone behind them is purple-ish, except for that green goblin on the left there, or green pig thing. You guys can tell I've never played this game. And then if that wasn't bad enough, you have Cadence of Hyrule in the logo. There's just so much going on, below that logo there. And yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot going on here that I'm just not a fan of. As well as like the purple gradient background here that I'm just not a fan of. Yeah, I think this is just going to go in okay tier. Like, it doesn't offend me or anything, but it's definitely probably one of the weakest Nintendo published box arts out here. All right, now Mario Maker 2's is very solid. I'm actually, ooh, do I want to put this S tier? It tells you exactly what the game is about while also showcasing the new like 3D world style that it's gonna have. And you even have Mario and Luigi being like all happy over there in the background with the grid system as well. Oh my god, I don't know. I really like the box art a lot. I think it's solid. It, gets the idea across as well. The yellow bar is kind of a little annoying, but at the same time though, you already have a wacky logo in the form of, the Super Mario Maker 2 logo, which I think is already kind of a stretch, fitting that title, onto the box art in and itself. So I can see why they put the yellow box there for it. Yeah, aside from that, no. We're putting this thing S tier. I really like it a lot. I was thinking about it. I really do enjoy this box art quite a bit. I think it's really nice. All right, next up, we got Dragon Quest Builders 2. Now, this one's interesting because, we talked about the previous Dragon Quest Builders game, and they had a unique art style going on for it. But for this one, they kind of, went without it, and they're doing something completely differently here. I'm still getting the Builders vibe from it and whatnot, but there's definitely a lot more characters, going on this time around. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish they were a little bit more consistent with what they started out with, so I think I'm going to put this in passable. All right, next up, Ultimate Alliance 3 Black Order. This is literally an MCU-esque box art. And yeah, there is a ton that they're juggling here. I haven't played the game myself, so I don't know which characters are important here, but you can just tell they're juggling Wolverine, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel. You can just tell they don't really know like who to focus on here. And yeah, my eyes are just so distracted. The background's pretty pleasing though, I'll give it that. But yeah, I think this is gonna be an okay question mark kind of tier. You know what I'm saying? All right, now Fire Emblem Three Houses. On one hand, it perfectly represents the three houses. You have Dimitri, Edelgard, and Claude all over there. The professors are down there. You have the Church of Saros back over there. I think it's a very solid box art. On the other hand, though, and I still don't know why it's like this to this day, Claude's bow, if you zoom on in, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to, like, represent the curved angle of the bow, but it doesn't even look like it's connected to the thing. Like, I don't even know, bro, like, what's happening here? I don't get it, dog. I don't get it. And also, maybe I'm crazy, but I think the professors kind of ruined the shot here. I'm gonna be real. It kind of implies that there's two, like, playable characters here, which, that's true and all that, but it implies that female and male Byleth are going to be a part of the story when they're not. I don't think any other, well, actually, Fire Emblem Fates did it, so I guess I can't say that. Oh, and same with Fire Emblem Engage, actually. Okay, I'm just talking out of my butt here then. But I don't know. It doesn't offend me. So I think I'm okay with putting this thing in okay tier. But no. I'll put it in passable. If I put it in okay tier, it implies that, there's a lot more rough edges than there actually is. My only really major gripe is Claude's bow here. But otherwise, it's pretty much okay. All right, next up, Astral Chain. Now, I kind of wish there was more chain going on here and whatnot. But otherwise, this is a pretty solid box art. You can see, like, the environment in the background. You can see the monster thing. I haven't played this game yet, so don't judge. And there are two protagonists right here, which are also gendered options. It's very simplistic, though. I will give it that. It's also nice to have the logo kind of like centered in a way where it's not like, in the complete center of the box art. It's very unique for the kind of game that this is. I don't know. We'll put it pretty good. All right, next up we got Demon X Machina. I couldn't tell you what this game is about, but I gotta say, this box art goes pretty dang hard. Oh my goodness. I really like the reds blended with the whites and blacks here. I think it looks amazing. The logo placement, I don't know why, but the logo here looks really nice, up against this background. Yeah, dude, not much to say here because I really don't know what else is going on with this game, but I love this box art. I think it's awesome. Yeah. All right, next up, Link's Awakening. I want to put this game in S tier. I think, I don't want to. I need to. I haven't played this game before yet, but I think it does a perfect job of showcasing everything. It doesn't blur the background. It lets you actually, like, enjoy it and enjoy the environment here. And then you also have Link in the middle here, showing his heroicness for all to see. Yeah, I think very solid. I think it deserves S tier. All right, next up we got Dragon Quest XI. Now, I think it's very interesting that Dragon Quest Builders 2 got rid of like the unique art style I had going on, and then Dragon Quest XI comes over here and it brings it back in its full glory. So I don't really know what the back and forth is going on between here and there, But yeah, this game's box art's pretty dang solid. There's a lot of characters that they're juggling around here. I don't know what that random blue ghost chicken thing on the top right is about. Yeah, no, it's passable. It's passable. I think it's pretty solid. It gets the, you know, the job across. I couldn't tell you what kind of game it is based on this box art, but I think it does a pretty dang good job. And next up, we got Ring Fit Adventure. I don't know many games that use a ring to demonstrate the gameplay that the player is going to be experiencing in the game. But I think for a brand new control scheme, I think the box art showcases it off quite well. And yeah, we can put this in pretty good. All right, now Luigi's Mansion 3. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Again, not much to say here. You have Luigi and Gooigi. Gooigi being there, obviously showing the importance of the co-op, gameplay and whatnot. Funnily enough, with the context aside, one might think that Gooigi over here might be the villain. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty solid. Pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, however, what the heck is going on here, dog? The Olympic Games, their box arts are always like really like bombastic and like action oriented. But this game, they just holding their medals out and they're just flexing, over a stadium of basically nobody. Like, what is this box art? They are so incredibly lazy. I mean, considering they haven't made a game since this game, it probably, speaks to the overall, health of the franchise. But yeah, oh my goodness. It's definitely not abhorrent, but it is definitely going to C tier. And now next we have Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I mean, it's okay. It's all right. It's just the two legendary doggos howling up into the sunset of who knows what. It's kind of crazy. The last mainline Pokemon game we had before Sword and Shield, if you're not counting Let's Go, was Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And that one was cool because, if you actually combine the box arts together, you would see Ultra Necrozma in the middle there. Kind of hinting at the big almighty threat you're about to fight at the end of the game. But here, it's just, the box art legendaries looking upwards at something. Yeah, this is just passable. It's okay, I guess. Next up, we got Brain Training. Dog, what do you want me to say about this? I graduated high school like 3 years ago. I do not care about school. Let's get this thing in C tier. Oh my goodness. Next up though, we got Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. The box art is, yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend to know. I don't know what's going on here. There's so many characters to juggle, but I don't seem to know what is happening. Where are the Fire Emblem characters? It's definitely visually pleasing. I have no idea what's going on here, so we're gonna put this thing in OK tier because I'm very confused. Next up, we got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and it's okay. I love the art style of it, but honestly, I don't really feel too strong about it. I don't know why the fire Pokemon are looking upwards, and then you have all the the water and normal Pokemon looking downwards into the logo. I don't know what's going on here. Let's give this a C tier. But Animal Crossing New Horizons, however, we're gonna give this thing an A tier because I think it's very solid. I think it shows off all the island activities that you may or may not be doing. It shows off some of the characters as well as the island that you're gonna be residing in. I think it's a solid box art. Ooh, okay, this one I'm excited for. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Unlike Xenoblade 2, where it shows off like one of the titans and two of the main characters, it just shows off a grass field with the main weapon that drives the narrative, as well as one of the titans that you will constantly be looking at throughout the whole game. This Titan here, this Mechonis right here, you will be staring at this thing throughout the entire game. I think it is the perfect thing to put on the front of the title there. And, I know I'm adding context to it to make you like it a lot more, but I think Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's box art is like peak. I think it's one of the greatest box arts out there. This is going in S tier. I will not debate this. This is my list, not yours. And now we're moving on to Clubhouse Games. And there's like 51 of these suckers, so I would imagine it'd be a little hard to fit all of those into this box art. But needless to say, I think they did a pretty good job here, and I think it gets the point across quite well that you can, use the single screen as a co-op experience. Moving on to Paper Mario the Origami King, and I think this one's actually very solid. You see the origami people up in the top right. You can see them peeling the page open as they, twist their whole world apart. And you can see all the paper people, including Toads and Bowser's minions, as well as Mario, fearing for their lives. Honestly, I think it's pretty solid, and I think it's up there in A tier with all the other good ones. But now we got 3D Mario All-Stars, and I don't know how to feel about it. They took the box arts from those 3 games and they just kind of slapped them onto here and they chopped them off. I don't know, it feels fan-made, but I don't know. It gets the job across, so I guess we could put this thing in C tier for passable. I don't know, not much to say about it. All right, now this one's kind of weird because technically it didn't get a box art in the States, but apparently got a Korean version, so I guess I'll count it. Using this version, however, we can see Kirby and his friends fighting, you know, while there's a sunset in the background, and Meta Knight's just there as well. Yeah, I don't know. Not much to say about it. It's passable. Gets the job done. And now we got Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Now, there's not much to say as this is pretty much the exact same, you know, box art that we had on the Wii U. I know there was a couple others like that on this list as well. But, yeah, I mean, this one's fun. Shows off the environment quite well. I find it interesting how there's, like, you know, it says Pikmin 3, but there's 5 Pikmin on the box art here. That's bothering me. But outside of that, though, it's a solid A tier. We can get it up there with pretty good. Now, next up, we got Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now, I'm going to be completely real. When I was thinking about making this video, Age of Calamity, I knew for a fact was going to be an S tier. I love this box art so much. I love it so much, I even got a poster of it, dude. I just think it's awesome. And now, I don't really know why this game has a sequel, but we also have Fitness Boxing 2, Rhythm Exercise. And I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of the exact same thing I had to say about the first one, except it's a different color style. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Not much to say about it, going in A tier. Alright, next up we have Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Now, this is one of those ones where I kind of wish they just committed and they let the new mode that they added, I just wish they let that take over the entire box art here. Because you're stuck with, you know, this cutesy, like, oh, happy-go-lucky 3D world. And then you have the, you know, epic, like, crazy, adventurous, you know, Mario and Bowser Jr. versus Fury Bowser. And yeah, I don't know, it's a tough sell here. That being said, I think they're both, you know, both sides of this box art here are both good for their own different reasons. So I think for that we could put this in pretty good. I just kind of wish they committed to one or the other, but I get they obviously wanted to show the fact that it's technically like 2 games in one. And next up, we got Bravely Default 2. Brother, what is going on here? This is just a PNG and a logo on a black screen. What is going on here? What does this tell me about the game? Who are you? What is that book? And why are you even... What? Why? This is D tier if I've ever seen one. Oh, thank God new Pokemon Snap is picking up the slack, though. This is amazing. You know, it showcases the fact that, yes, you can, in fact, take photos. The logo's nice. The Pokemon here showcased are really warm and nice and soft. And yeah, we can put this at A tier. It's pretty nice. Moving on to an interesting one, though, we got Game Builder Garage. Now, aside from the blue bar at death at the bottom here, I think it's a pretty solid box art, and I think it, you know, makes it very clear on what kind of game you're getting into here. It's kind of hard to make a box art for a game builder kind of game, but Mario Maker 2 managed to do it pretty well, and I gotta say, I think this one also managed to do it pretty well as well. Moving on, though, we got Mario Golf Super Rush, and I gotta be real, out of the Mario sports games, I think this is one of the better box arts I've seen. I mean, yeah, sure, there's not much going on in the background, but Mario himself and the golf ball? Oh my God, I don't know what it is, but the pose, the little swing, like, effect or whatever, like, you could, the motion, you know, the motion, the action, it's there, the render, that golf ball, like, it's movement being done through an image, you know, and you can feel the weight of his hit with the club, you know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Needless to say, I think this is a solid A tier. Next up, though, we got Skyward Sword HD. Now, I keep joking about the MCU-esque poster, and while this game doesn't feature a bajillion characters this time around, this is definitely the most MCU poster I've ever seen for like a solo outing film, if you know what I mean. That being said, it is really solid, and it gets the point across. And I love how Girahim and Fi kind of like blended into the clouds. It's not like they just ripped their renders and just slapped them on here and then lowered the opacity. It looks like they're like actually like interwoven to the box art, which I appreciate. As well as just the, you know, unique art style going on here as well. I think it's really awesome. I think that is more deserving of A tier. Ooh, this one's kind of a funny one. Next, we have WarioWare Get It Together. Now, I think this one is funny because this one has the, like, dash effect or whatever. You'd see a lot of it in, like, I don't know, montage or funny moment videos. But it's like this green screen effect or whatever where there's, like, white lines, you know, like coming in from the sides and going into the center to give the illusion of like running or being in a rush or whatever. I think it's kind of cool, and I like how it's used here. You know, I thought it was a little weird. It's a little weird from far away, but I kind of like it now that I'm looking at the details more. And I also like how some of the characters are on the side there as well as the mini games in the background. And I just love the colors in the background as well. It's really nice. Let's give that thing another A tier. And then we got Metroid Dread. And yeah, you know, Metroid games, they rarely ever miss with their box arts. And it even has the 7 like main like bosses that you're going to be fighting throughout the game. Obviously, I don't want to take the context from the game because, you know, I'm looking at this box art as purely a consumer, not as somebody who has played the game before and has prior knowledge. But I think it's cool that you kind of have the main enemy in the background just like haunting and looming over you as you're about to enter this this planet for the first time. Yeah, not much to say again. It's another solid A tier. And then we have Mario Party Superstars. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid box art. I kind of wish the background had a little bit more blur going onto it, or, you know, the characters had some sort of like shadow behind them. But overall, it's pretty solid. I will say that Yoshi render is disgusting. I do not like it. It bothers me. Yeah, I hate it. And yeah, overall, I kind of wish the box art did more to like showcase the fact that yes, Mario Party Superstars is kind of using older content. It's kind of recycling older content to make like an ultimate Mario Party game based on the first 3 Mario Parties. With this box art, it kind of suggests that it's just another Mario Party game, when this one's more or less a remake of previous Mario Party games indoor boards. I don't know. It's definitely not offensive, but I think I'm going to put this thing in passable tier. Now, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now, remember, guys, we're talking about the box arts. We're not talking about the overall quality of the game itself, because if we're talking about the overall quality of the game itself... That being said, though, I do appreciate these a lot more compared to Sword and Shield or even Scarlet and Violet, which we will get to in a moment. These box arts, I think, are a lot better. I think they did a lot more than simply slap the legendary Pokemon onto the box art. Now, I kind of wish they did a little bit more here. Like, I think it would have been so cool if they, because, what is it? You can see, like, the light, like, ray effects coming out of their, like, little, like, emblem thing or whatever. I think it'd be cool to see some of, like, the environments and or characters, like, showcasing through the light rays or whatever. But I kind of wish that instead of this black background, we use those light rays to like showcase some things that could be in the game, you know. But overall, you know, it's a lot better compared to Sword and Shield. And you know what? We're gonna put this thing in A tier. I gotta give it credit where credit is due. And then we have Big Brain Academy, Brain versus Brain. I couldn't tell you a dang thing about this game other than, yeah, this looks like a school environment. That green thing behind you is indeed the chalkboard, and there is a clock, and there is in fact a teacher on the right. Yeah, we'll put this thing in passable. Oh my god, I completely forgot how close Pokemon Legends Arceus released with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But yeah, this box art is very solid. You have the 3 starter Pokemon, which I kind of wish they made a little bit more clear on who the starter Pokemon is. But you also have a Rhyhorn, you got a what I think is a Bidoof, I can't tell with the ESRB there, Lucario, and a Pikachu. And yeah, it's pretty solid. And you also have the main centerpiece in the form of Mount Coronet. Now, obviously, to an unsuspecting customer, they might not know what that mountain is, but that mountain in particular is always there in your journey playing this game. It's like the centerpiece. Every map you go to in this game, you always see Mount Coronet in the background. So I think it's a very good thing to have the box art be focused on that. Yeah, you know, it's kind of similar to Breath of the Wild in this sense, but yeah, I'm okay with giving it a tier. And then we have Triangle Strategy. Why is there one guy sitting in a field full of dead corpse and crows? What kind of box art is this? What is the strategy here? What is this box art, bro? Yeah, I'm sorry. I think you're gonna go in the Bravely default tier. I'm sorry. But moving on to a way more fun one and a way more happier one, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land. There's not much going on here other than a very rundown city and a car, other than Kirby just looking up at something. I don't know what he's looking up at, but he's looking up at something. In my opinion, it's not really the best box art out there. I think it's pretty solid. I think the Kirby render itself is very nice. I just wish there was a little bit more going on in the environment, you know? I feel like this gives the impression that this is like an open world game when it's not. It's kind of like a 3D world kind of situation here. But I don't know. It's very inoffensive, and I think it's pretty solid. And now we have Nintendo Switch Sports. Now, technically, this game doesn't really have a physical, and it's kind of hard to rank this, but it did come with a giant box, and yeah, I feel like ranking it. It's my video. I don't care. Needless to say, this box art is kind of just okay. You know, it's showing that you can, in fact, use the Joy-Cons to play various sports. The sports in question, they choose badminton, volleyball, and soccer, which is funny because the soccer game, there's barely anything involving soccer to do, and yeah, this is a weird selection of sports to pick from for your box art. Now, Mario Strikers Battle League. Oh, oh my god. You know, I joke about this game's quality and whatnot and what it came with and how it's kind of a half-baked video game. But this box art, Oh my god. It would be a disservice to not put this game anywhere other than S tier. All right, now this next one, there's kind of a lot going on here. A little too much for my liking, in my opinion. But yeah, we're talking about Fire Emblem Three Hopes right now. I will say this one's a lot better than the Three Houses one, at least. But yeah, I just feel like there's a little bit too much going on here. You have Shez, then you have Byleth, then you have the three house leaders, as well as Arvel and Sothis up there, just doing their stare off, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's not the best out there, but again, it is passable. I do not hate it. Next up, we got Live Alive. Now, I've been wanting to play this game. I actually played the demo for it. I really enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, we're talking about the box art today. And as for the box art, yeah, I mean, it's okay. You know, it shows off all the playable characters and whatnot. But I am not a fan of this white background. I'm pretty sure it was like that in the original copy and whatnot. Yeah, okay, I got the image right here. It was like that in the original, but I just wish you had something going on in the white background, you know, like just because it's a reference to an old, you know, box art. I feel like you can still, you know, like mix it up a little bit, you know, but it's not enough for me to hate it. So let's get this thing in passable tier. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 though. Oh, this is an MCU poster. Look, am I a little biased for the Xenoblade Chronicles series and their box arts? Yeah, kind of a little bit, but I think it's really cool nonetheless. You know, you got the Titan mixed in with the Makana sword from Xenoblade 1, as well as all 6 of the main characters that you're going to be playing as, all staring at the thing. You know, that's Xenoblade's main trademark. I'll be fair though, I think I'm going to put this in A tier though, because I feel like what the box art highlights isn't really the main focus of the game, I would argue. But speaking of too many things that are going on, somehow for a box art that only has one Inkling and an Octoling, somehow it just seems like there's just too much going on. And I don't really know what it is, because I was praising the Splatoon box arts earlier, especially with Splatoon 2. But this box art, it just kind of seems like a mess. Also, the logo, like, it's so, like, it's kind of weird. It blends into the box art as well, so it's kind of hard to see it, which is weird because it's on a black, like, it has a black background to it. And yeah, it kind of blends in as well. I do appreciate how it does show off the new weapon in the form of the Tri-Stringer, as well as show off that, yes, Octolings are playable in this game. I'll put this in A tier. I think Splatoon 2 did a way better job. In Splatoon 3, it just feels way too chaotic for me, which is crazy because that's kind of the whole theme of it. So maybe in that sense, it's doing a good job, but I don't know. It's just not vibing with me. Oh baby, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now this is an MCU poster, all right. No, but this is cool though. It's all right. I mean, I am running out of ways to describe just okay box arts, but yeah, this one's pretty dang solid. You know, I think it's a pretty cool poster if you want it. Yeah, I'll put this thing in A tier. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like the background as well. Next up though, we got Bayonetta 3. Now, I do appreciate that all 3 Bayonetta games are consistent. You know, you have Bayonetta dancing in front of the moon. This one, interestingly enough though, the moon is red in this instance, where in the first game it was blue and the second game it was yellow. I don't know what this says about the Bayonetta games, but you know what, that's pretty cool. I don't know, for me personally though, they're just not my thing, and I think I'm just gonna put this thing in passable with the other 2 Bayonetta games. They're just not my thing. Next up though, we got Scarlet and Violet, and oh my god, guys, we were doing something so good with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and then we immediately reverted back to the Sword and Shield style of box art. Now, I will give credit to this box art at the very least. At least, you know, the background is a lot more interesting than what they did with Sword and Shield. You know, they made an effort to make it seem like the box art was like the book, you know, the Violet book and the Scarlet book, respectively, the books that are actually in the game. But like, come on, you could have put something in the background behind the legendary. It's just something. Off you go into passable tier. Next up though, we got Fire Emblem Engage. That's right, baby. Another MCU poster. I mean, yeah, it's pretty all right. You got, you know, Alear, you got Marth, you got the 2 dragons fighting in the back. Yeah, it's all right. I don't have any strong opinions about that. Let's put this thing in mid tier. We then follow this up with Metroid Prime Remastered. And like I said earlier, the Metroid games, they never mess with their box arts. I will say though, the reversible cover is a lot more interesting in the fact that it's literally just Samus floating in space instead of standing in a hall. So it's really just pick your poison on what you want your Samus doing. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to give this thing a passable tier. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. We then have Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, and oh my god, I really love how stylized this box art is. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of the outlines in game, but here in the box art, it makes everything just pop really well. You got Planet Popstar down the bottom, and then you got the main cast along with you, as well as a certain new friend that I'm sure will not betray you later on in the game, as well as his ship. I might be crazy for saying this, but I think this thing can go in S tier. Honestly, I really like this box art quite a lot. Wait, hold on, wait a minute. What's this game? Fitness Boxing? Fist of the North Star? What the heck? Bro, what is this game? Is this just fitness boxing with JoJo characters? What the hell? I think this thing is going in pretty good tier. I didn't think fitness boxing was that big of an IP, but clearly it's so big that they could get JoJo of all things into it. Following up that crazy discovery, we have Bayonetta, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. Yeah, I've never played this game, so I don't really know what really is going on here, but I genuinely do love the aesthetic a lot. I don't know why the Bayonetta logo is so tiny up there, but overall, this box art, it's really nice and sweet. Yeah, I don't know. I think this thing gets a pretty good tier. It's pretty good. We then have Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. And yeah, I've never played this series before, but we see 3 people in a tank on the road. Yeah, not my favorite box art ever, but we can put this thing in passable. We then follow that up with Tears of the Kingdom. Now, my opinions about the game aside, the box art is pretty dang solid. Now, I think it's kind of funny that in Breath of the Wild, we didn't get to see Link's face, but now in Tears of the Kingdom, we do, and he's sitting up in the sky, looking down on Hyrule, and I think it's a pretty dang good box art, all things considered. I really love the art style and whatnot. It's not enough to get S tier, but we could put this thing in A tier. We then have Pikmin 1+2. And see, this is what I wanted Live Alive to do. You got the various Pikmin types kind of doing their own thing while you have flowers and leaves accompanying the background. That being said, they're not bad at all, so we can give these things a passable tier. We then have Everybody 1-2 Switch. Why did the original 1-2 Switch get a sequel? And why does it have a horseman? I don't know, but I think this thing is getting an A tier. We then have Pikmin 4, which shows off the various Pikmin that we'll be using throughout the game, as well as our new companion Ochi. I think it's going to get a pretty dang good A tier. Oh my god, I actually forgot this came on the Switch. Detective Pikachu Returns. I think I'm going to give this thing a passable tier. Can you guys tell I'm running out of things to say? Oh, but at least this next one's a fun one. We got Mario Bros. Wonder, and this one is actually really cool. But I think what makes this box art so cool is that you have Mario carrying the Wonder Flower, and you can see that the background is filling in as Mario runs with the Wonder Flower. You can kind of see the blank background that's being filled in thanks to the Wonder Flower. And the cool thing about that background too is it's not just blank and it's not white. You know, there's actually stuff going on with it, which I think is so freaking cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I think this thing deserves S tier. I think it's really solid and really creative. Oh my god, WarioWare got another game on the Switch? I completely forgot. Yeah, there's not really much to say here. You can see Wario with Joy-Cons, doing stuff as his shirt rips. I don't know why these past 2 WarioWare games have his clothing rip constantly, but sure, why not? Yeah, I think I'm gonna put this thing in passable tier. Now, this game. This was another reason I wanted to make this video. Super Mario RPG. Depending on who you ask, they will say that this is a really well-made box art that references the original release. Me, on the other hand, this is just you slapping the renders onto a white background and putting the logo there and calling it a day. This is so incredibly lazy. I'm putting this thing in bottom tier. But moving on, then we have another Code Recollection. And see, this is what I'm talking about. This is a way better box art. Now, sure, the background is a little generic, but I appreciate that we have our main lead here. And in her hair, you can see some things that you might see on your adventure throughout the game. In her hair, it's really nice. It's a way to showcase what you could see in the game without having it plastered all over the screen. It's really nice and it's really clever and smart and awesome. And just for that alone, that thing is getting A tier. This is really awesome. I really like the box art. We then have Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Nintendo Switch, and yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's pretty dang good. I do appreciate the little cartoon splash effect underneath Mario and Donkey Kong here in the corners of the box art. As well as showing off the background and like what kind of platforming you could expect out of this game. Oh yeah, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. Let's get this thing in A tier. Oh my god, talking about this next game, it's so funny. I remember the controversy for Princess Peach's Showtime, the box art for it, like it was yesterday. Oh my god, I feel like I'm reliving memories looking at this box art here. As for the box art itself though, It's kind of all right. I'll be real. If we're bringing up the drama real quick, I was on the side that I thought the old box art was better because that looked like Princess Peach. I'm looking at this one right now, and I'm looking at it far away, and it looks like she doesn't even have eyebrows. Also, I feel like they were trying to make her look like the Peach from the Mario movie. And I mean, that's fine and all if that's the Peach they were going with. But you look at the Princess Peach in-game, and she looks nothing like she does in the box art. So yeah, I don't know. I'm confused. A lot of people are saying, oh, you just hate, you hate women expressing themselves. No, I just don't like movie Peach's face that much. Yeah, I'm gonna put this thing in passable. It's okay. We then have Endless Ocean Luminous. I mean, what do you want me to say here? It's 2 dolphins and a turtle and a scuba man going up. I mean, it's really pretty, but I really don't have much to say here. Like, what do you want me to say? Yeah, we're going to put this thing in B tier. Next up, we have Paper Mario The 1,000-Year Door. Oh my god, dude. Shout outs to the team who made the box art for this game, because I appreciate that they didn't just rip the original GameCube game and updated it a little bit. I appreciate that they kind of did something a little new, a little unique. But I think it's cool because they're on a stage. You might not notice it. They're on a stage right now, and you also have the crowd at the bottom there. But I appreciate the crowd isn't taken away from the box art as well. They have these like little black spots around them, so that way that like you still see that they're there, but they're not taken away from the main, the main vocal point of the box art. And also I appreciate the edges as well. It makes it look like it's a book. It's way better than how Scarlet and Violet did it. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is very solid. Honestly though, dude, you know what? S tier. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's really solid, actually. All right, moving on to Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now, I have yet to play the game, but I will say, I do want to highlight the, the original release on the 3DS. It kind of sucks that they had to replace, where Luigi's hands are, they're creaking on the door on the box art here. It kind of sucks that they had to replace it, because in the 3DS version, Luigi's hands were on the side of the 3DS bar, on the right side, and it was so cool. It's so cool. I know they couldn't have gotten away with it on the Switch, but it was so cool. I still think it looks nice. I still think it looks awesome, but it kind of sucks that it kind of got ruined in translation a little bit. That being said, though, I still think the box art looks very solid. I think this is one of the better Luigi renders that we have out there. And yeah, I think this thing deserves an A tier. I think it's very solid. We then have Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. Not much to say. I do appreciate how the box art is kind of reminiscent of, back in the day, back in the 90s. I do appreciate it. I think it looks really neat. You have the various sprite work of some of the games that you can expect to play on the game, as well as the trophy. And yeah, dude, it's solid. I think it's really nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this thing an A tier. I think it's pretty good. Gets the point across very well. Ooh, then we have Emio the Smiling Man, the Famicom Detective Club. I am very interested in playing this game. I've heard great things about it by my buddy Invader9. There's not really much to say about this box art. I do appreciate that you have the Smiling Man himself up there, looming above you and haunting you. But yeah, there's not really much to say here. I do appreciate the background. I appreciate the purple tone, the purple highlight in the box art. I think it's really nice. There's really not much to say other than pretty good. We then have The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This is Zelda's first ever outing on her own sole adventure. And for her box arts, I don't know. I do not know. I think Link's Awakening knocked it out of the park. But with this, I don't know. I don't really know what the focal point here of the box art is. It's aesthetically pleasing, but outside of that, I think I'm going to put this thing in okay tier. I'm not the biggest fan, I'm sorry. We then move on to another Mario Party, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Now, this one is really nice. It's a little all over the place, but I think it's pretty cool. It gets the point across pretty well. I appreciate Bowser burning whatever he's cooking on the pan there. I think that's pretty funny. Yeah, I do not have much to say about this, and I'm running out of things to say for each individual box art. But overall, I think this thing is another solid A tier. We then have Mario & Luigi Brothership, and while I do feel pretty mixed about the game overall, I will say the box art is pretty solid. I wish they would do more with the white background. I'm getting tired of RPGs having these very simplistic backgrounds. I just kind of wish the ship took more of the box art, I guess. I don't know, and I kind of wish there was more going on with the white. There's just too much white. There's too much empty space, but I guess they did fill it up quite nicely for the most part. I don't know. I will say, though, while we're on the tier list, I do much prefer the icon here. I think the icon looks a lot better. I love the background colors there. It looks like the sea. I like it a lot more. We then have Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. I mean, what do you want me to say about this? This is Donkey Kong's third time returning, bro. I mean, it's a pretty solid box art, but, you know, wait, what do you want me to say about it that hasn't already been said? We then have Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and while I do know Xenoblade Chronicles X is a lot more different compared to the previous Xenoblade games, they're kind of going with a Breath of the Wild approach here. And, you know, I do know that the Skelds are kind of like the main part of the, you know, the adventure and the open worldness. And that's the cool thing about this, because it is an open world. So the box art is quite, you know, indicative of what you could expect to see. Whatever. I'm going to put it in pretty good. It's not bad by any means. I just think that, like, it's kind of just okay, you know. We can put it in A tier though. It's still a Xenoblade game, and Xenoblade box arts, they usually never miss. And then for our final box art, as of me making this video, obviously I expect to have a lot more, and this video will be outdated, but I did make a note about it at the beginning of this video. But yeah, this one I kind of added last second, but Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yeah. It's pretty dang amazing. I like it a lot. I think it's so amazing. You know, it's another Samus render, so, you know, your mileage will vary on that if you like Samus or not. I don't know what the things in the background are doing, but yeah, I think it's pretty dang good. My only problem is that if I put it in A tier, suddenly the list looks a lot bigger than it should be. So maybe we can rearrange something. You know what? Nah, screw it. I'm okay with this list. I'm okay with this list. Anyways, with that, this is my entire Nintendo Switch box art ranking video. I would love to follow this up and make one for the Nintendo Switch too, but we'll see how that goes. You know, as with one of my previous videos, I said I didn't like the Switch 2 cases that much, so we'll see if I do follow this up at all. Obviously, this video will be outdated as Nintendo does plan to release a bunch of Switch 1 titles, but, you know, just check the date before commenting, because that would be highly appreciated. And yeah, let me know if you agree or disagree with my thoughts in the comments below, and feel free to make your own tier list and, you know, hit me up on Twitter or something. I would love to see your tier list. But with that being said, thank you for watching my long video talking about art and graphic design. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and I will see you all in another video. Bye-bye!